The reason we're excited about this information is because it's changing people's lives. And that's particularly what I'm all about. I'm always looking for ways to empower people and to enhance what they're already doing, not to take them through a different course. So we're getting in the mix, and it all clicks in 2026. And that's our message for this season. But what we're really doing is empowering customers. We've got some core values here at Think Energy: choice, transparency, sustainability. And it's about clean energy. And if you don't know, it is what's happening now. It's what we need. I believe in doing my best to have clean eating. And now I'm doing my best to have clean energy. So we're rethinking energy. We have three services. We're going to get into what these services are and explain to you how we're able to save people as it relates to their electricity bill. We've got regular electricity, fixed rates, auto save, and think smart. I'll break those down. We've got something called community solar. And then we have a new home battery program that's coming soon. So here's the first question I ask everybody. Who do you know that uses electricity? Okay, I'll give you a second to think. Everybody. So we don't have to think long about that. And then not only do people use electricity, but don't we need to save? Who would want to save? I don't care how much. Saving is saving. Then it's everybody. But let's think about the prices. When I look at my bills from 3 years ago to now, I mean, it's just amazing how the prices are rising. But there's some reason to the madness. They're not just rising because they're treating us bad. No, they're rising because there's a transition that's being made to renewable energy. There are electric vehicles in many of our garages. And then AI. Listen, I use AI every single day. I'm a chat GPT fanatic. I teach it. I do workshops on it. But guess what? To use those AI things, not just chat, but all the other ones, they have to build data centers. And the more data centers are being built, the more there's being a strain put on the grid. You might not have known that OpenAI, that's ChatGPT, the future AI data center called Stargate, is projected to use up to 10 gigawatts of power. That's enough to power 7.5 million homes. So in other words, I'm saying this AI is becoming one of the biggest energy users in the world. You may not understand that these AI data center campuses will draw more electricity than the entire city of New York. And this is why the grid is under pressure. So much so that even the Federal Energy Regulatory Commission said this: the country needs every single megawatt, every single electron it can get to meet the peak demand, especially as the AI data center load grows and electrification of industry transport picks up. And it is picking up, guys. So here's the thing. Somebody thought enough of you to want you to get this information, because we can't go to sleep on this. See, Google's not going to sleep on it. Google is preparing to invest trillions of dollars to go into space and build an AI infrastructure satellite. That's a sign that things as they are going to change. But I'm so grateful that this company, Think Energy, Think Plus, has some innovative technology. When I first joined, I thought I was joining an energy company. Now I've learned in the last 3 years, almost just right hitting 3 years, this is a technology company. We're a technology company in the energy space. That's amazing. And so we have proprietary technology. One of those is called autosave. Now, what is autosave? Never before in the energy space have you been even able to say legally the word guarantee. But with autosave, we can use that terminology. We can say we can guarantee savings when your supply is with Think Energy, no cap. We can say we can guarantee to never pay more than the utility. What do I mean by that? If you're like in the state of Illinois, their utility is called ComEd. Various states have different utility companies. Well, We're saying we will guarantee you will never pay more than that utility center. There'll be no renewals. You sign up once, you let us do the work, you cancel anytime, and there are no fees. And here's another guarantee. If you connect with our smart thermostat that I'll tell you about in a minute, you also are guaranteed the minimum 5% savings with the smart thermostat. Now, some people are getting much more than 5%, but what we will guarantee is that you're going to see some savings. And to me, that's the world, because savings is just savings. You want to save some money some kind of way. So now, where do we have autosave? Currently, because we're going all over the United States, but currently we're active in Pennsylvania, Illinois, New Jersey, Ohio, Washington, D.C., and Delaware. That's where autosave is active. So what's our second service? It's called Community Solar. Community Solar is a state-sponsored clean energy program delivering up to 20 years of savings for residential and small commercial customers. And please forgive me because I forgot to tell you, to get autosave, it doesn't cost you anything. Okay, that's a real important piece right there. Costs the customer absolutely nothing to get autosave. Community Solar, again, doesn't cost anything. But what I love about Community Solar, it's state-sponsored. And a lot of people in states where we are don't even know about it. And it's delivering up to 20 years of guaranteed savings for residential and small commercial customers. Now, community solar is not a common term because most of us only know about rooftop solar. That's what we're familiar with. But let me tell you something. Rooftop solar is good, and it does bless a lot of people and give them some savings on their bill, but everybody can't get it because everybody doesn't qualify. You got to have at least a 650 credit score. You got to pay for the panels. You got to make sure you have the right kind of roof. You can't even have too many trees on your roof. Well, then you got to cut the trees down because they keep the sun from hitting the panels, right? And then you've got to be a home owner. You can't lease. You can't rent. You can't do any of those things. You can't live in an apartment and get the credits that you would get from the solar panels. But with community solar, the panels are on the field. They're on lands. I've got pictures where they're even on the top of parking lots where they're putting them. And why aren't you on a solar farm? Probably because you didn't even know about it. But watch this. You get guaranteed savings for up to 20 years. No rooftop required. It's free to enroll. Again, you cancel anytime. And even if you're a renter, if you're in an apartment, if you're renting your house, leasing your house, or maybe you have a mobile home, you still qualify. And the qualification is basically 5 to 25%, and that's determined by what state you're in. So there are people that are actually getting 25%, and when they look at their bill says 0 because of the solar credits because you get from the farm. So how does it work? It goes from the ground to the panels, it goes to the grid goes to your house, and you still get the energy, you still have electricity, but now you're not using total electricity, you're also using solar. All right? And then the active states right now are Colorado, Illinois, Maine, Maryland, Massachusetts, Minnesota, New Jersey, New York, Rhode Island, Virginia, and DC. Now, understand this, when it says legislation pending, it means that all those states have already gotten the money for the developing of the solar fields. They've already gotten paid. So nothing's going to change that. We're just waiting on the regulatory commissions, because all this is regulated, to flip the switch and say we're on. And then we'll be on those cities, and you'll start seeing a lot of those blue states begin to turn yellow. And then next up is New Mexico, Oregon, and Delaware. Now, I don't know where you're from if you're here as a guest, but whether you're in a state right now where we have autosave or community solar, don't worry. I bet you know somebody in some of these other states. And I'm going to show you shortly how that's a benefit to you. But it's a benefit because if you love somebody in another state, won't you tell them that they're missing out on savings? I hope so. And then I'm in Texas. Texas is the largest energy market. You know, we say it all the time. We do things big in Texas. But 1/7 of America's electricity is actually consumed in Texas. That's major. But you know what else is happening in Texas? Our bills are the highest almost in Texas. as a matter of fact. But we've got several diverse suites of products because in Texas, we have over 125. When your state has one utility company to choose from, one supplier to choose from, we have about 125. And fortunately for us, Think Plus is really outdoing so many of them. And we've got several different choices, a 12-month, 36-month, whatever it is that we share with you. We're even able to let you switch in the middle of your contract just by paying $29.95 if there's a lower rate taking place. But our focus is 100% clean energy, the most budget friendly, and a $100 cash gift card if you pay your bill on time for up to 6 months. And I know that they give you the gift card because I've been recipient of that card. But what is the technology behind the state of Texas? But it's not just Texas anymore. We've got it in some other states as well. It's called Think Smart. Now, this is thermostat integration that powers the efficiency and the monthly bill credits for you. So we think thermostats, we look at thermostats, we think that's for comfort level, but not in this case. We have people that control the energy in Texas, and it's called ERCOT. And every so often, ERCOT sends a spike to the electricity, to your home. You never know it, but you see it and you experience it on your bill. Well, what is this Think Smart technology? It's able to detect that spike before it happens. And then it will change your temperature on your thermostat anywhere between 2 to 4 degrees up or down to help you miss that spike. And that means savings. Because when you connect with our Think Smart technology, you also get $10 credit extra on your bill every single month. I don't know about you. $10 doesn't sound like a month, but $120 in a year, yeah, you could do something with that. And then the last service that we have is a home battery program that is coming and starting, because we're the biggest. Don't be a hater. We're the biggest state that has this electricity going on, coming in March of 2026. I want you to hear this.
Every summer we see it. Record heat, record energy demand, and the same story on repeat. Regular outages, soaring prices, a grid pushed to the breaking point.
The Earth is still hot, and so is the demand for electricity.
More energy is better than less energy.
With the rise of AI technology, demand on power plants is increasing.
Here's the thing. The grid we all depend on was built more than 100 years ago, for a time when electricity flowed one way, from a few big power plants to every home and business. But that world has changed. Today, millions of devices draw power every second. Demand for electricity keeps growing, but the grid hasn't kept pace. And it's not steady. Some hours we have plenty of power, others we're short. That's why electricity now costs different amounts at different times of day. When demand peaks, energy gets expensive. And when we need less energy, it's cheap. And this means consumers have to work harder and pay more for less reliable energy. Until now. A quiet revolution has started. Home batteries can now store energy when it's cheap or abundant, and use or even sell it back when it's needed most. Link thousands of those batteries together with smart software, and you get something entirely new called a virtual power plant. Instead of waiting for a distant generator to fire up, these connected devices can instantly feed energy back into the grid. The grid pays providers for this support. Those earnings can be shared with customers, lowering costs for the homeowners whose batteries made it possible. For consumers, that means significantly lower costs, predictable rates, and backup power when the grid fails, along with a direct role in building a cleaner, more resilient energy system. We are reshaping how electricity works as we're preparing to bring this idea to scale.
Think Plus will be partnering with a next-generation virtual power plant, connecting homes, batteries, and people into one intelligent energy network.
Our consumers will pay much less for even more reliable energy, with backup power for their homes. And when enough homes join, the grid gets stronger and energy becomes something we all share. This is the power of connection.
Coming soon from Think Plus.
Whether you know it or not, March 1st will be here before we know it. because what this is going to do is going to change the whole energy game. We're going to help customers be able to save on electricity, have a free, backup power for their home, and it's no cost to install. So now, when people hear the word free, they immediately start saying, okay, nothing is ever really free. But in this case, it is. And it's free because Think Energy is going to benefit from being able to help the grid. See, whether you may not know this, but because of all that AI stuff, these utilities, these power plants, they can't build another power plant. That costs billions of dollars. But they do need companies like ourselves to come up with innovative ideas, which now we have proprietary technology to help to save the grid, to help to complement the grid. So we have partnered with a battery partner called EcoFlow. This company was said by Time magazine, best inventions in 2025. And they've already sold over 3 million batteries in the United States, and they're trusted by Costco and Lowe's and Amazon and Home Depot and Area and Sam's Club. Now, can you go buy a battery? Absolutely. $30,000 plus. But we're going to be able to help customers get this battery for free on their homes, completely installed. No, they won't own the battery, but they'll have that battery for a 15-year contract. And if they want to keep the battery, they just redo it for another 15 years. But it's going to be all about savings. Now, if you still don't get this, let me try to break it down a little bit more. It's about an ecosystem that's going to change how energy works in your home. And whether you believe this or not, it's going to happen with us or without us. It's like when I talk to people about crypto. Our money's changing. All this stuff is changing in our lifetime. We no longer take cash into a grocery store. We give them a card. We didn't ask how that was happening. This is going to happen using autosave, using the Think Smart Proton technology, and using the smart thermostat to work with that battery. Now, what does it do? It's not just a backup battery only, but it's building a virtual power plant. What does that mean? That means, and I've seen it on bills, they'll say, well, we'll give you nights and weekends free. Well, did you know that the nights is when electricity costs less? Okay, you're supposed to give it to me for free because it ain't costing you much, but you're charging me too much in the daytime. And that's what happens. This battery is going to be charging up in the nighttime. And then in the daytime, there'll be peak times when the battery will be taking care of your home instead of the grid. So that means the grid is saying thank you, and it's paying Think Energy for that. I was a victim of the Texas freeze. Some of you are not from Texas, so you may not even know what I'm talking about. But the Texas freeze, see, those of you in the north, you don't even understand because y'all have cold weather all the time. But we had 3 days of freezing weather, and it knocked our grid out. The grid collapsed, millions lost power, homes went dark, families froze, and yes, my pipes did burst. So now, when you understand the services that we have, it just makes sense. And the person that invited you here is saying, you need to have this service in your home if you're in an area, or maybe you know some people in any of those states we just talked about that definitely want to save money. Well, if that be the case, here's what our CEO said. And you always want to know who's running the ship, right? And where their vision is. He's the previous founder and CEO of Viridian Energy and took that company to over 300,000 customers and over 30,000 associates. Now, all of this is fantastic. But what's really meaningful to me is that in November of 2021, Oak Tree Capital gave him $100 million to build a best-in-class sustainable energy platform. Now, I don't know about you. I don't have many people I can pick up the phone with and ask them for $1,000. But they gave him $100 million because they knew he would be able to do what the vision that he had. And then in 2022, he took some of that money and he acquired Think Energy. And then he rebranded it, relaunched it in February of 2023. So now if you do the research and you find out any information about Think Energy prior to February 2023, that's not us. Because at that time, before that time, they had about a 1-point rating. And now we're at a 4.4 rating on Trustpilot. So we're excited because he said it's done, if it's done right, with laser focus on products that are great for the customer and a community that attracts world-class entrepreneurs, then the way to market it is through network marketing. That's the perfect vehicle. So we are going belly to belly, one person at a time, one family at a time, one loved one at a time, one community at a time to share this information. And that's why you're here. So now let's take it to another level. Let me put your business hat on for just another 5 minutes and we're done. What if not only could you save money, but what if you could get paid every time people used electricity because you help them make better energy choices? Now, I'm going to tell you why that's important to me when I heard it. I've been in other network marketing companies all throughout my adult life. And I've always had to be concerned about, are they going to get the product the next day? Because most of them were product-based. Now that I've been here, I don't ever want to do a product-based company again. Because here I understand that even if a person leaves the company, stops doing the business, guess what they won't stop doing? Using electricity. So I never have to call anybody and say, did you pay your light bill? Because we actually have 9 different ways of getting paid based on people using the one service that they're going to continue to use no matter what. Even 1 month after they pass away, they still send you an electricity bill. So if you're looking at this and you say, well, I do know a few people. I do know some pastors. I do know some frat brothers. I do know some sorors. If you're saying that and you think in your mind immediately, I know some people in Illinois. I know some folk in Texas. I know some folk in Virginia. I know some folk in Ohio. Let me tell you something. Then you can get paid. Now, what does it cost for you to become what we call an energy advisor? $59. Now, there you go, thinking you've got to pay this every month. No, ma'am, no, sir. $59 per year, except for after the first year, that's how you sign up, and then renewing it is $149. And watch this. If you don't want to renew, if you say it didn't work out for you, you're not under contract. On 364 day, you can say, I'm out of here. But I promise you, if you use our system, you will already have made that $59 back. And I'm going to show you how you can almost make it back in 24 hours. But there are no monthly fees. Rarely am I with companies that don't have monthly fees, monthly products that you got to always have, or paying for the website every month. Not here. But for the $59, you're going to get a business in a box, a proven system. You get 2 websites, yours for the advisors and the customers, and then one separate one for the customers. You're going to get an app that's out of this world where you can actually send people a video and know when they opened it. Your web office where you can see every customer, every advisor, what's taking place, what services they're using. A marketing center that already creates your flyers and your business cards with your name already on it and your QR code already on it. And then the certification training that is required for every single person that becomes an EA. All of that's for that same $59. Now let's talk about how to make your money back. So let's just I'm going to take Illinois as an example because they have several different services. In Texas, we have the electricity and we have the battery that's coming, and we have the Think Smart technology. So every person we sign up in Texas, you're getting $20. But if you're in another state that has community solar, you're getting 20 plus anywhere between $30 and $50. So you're getting up to $70. And then if somebody decides they want to be in business with you, and here's what I find out. As I just talk to people, I love this because I don't have to convince anybody. I just have to share it. I just have to let them know, do you want to save money? And I have people that ask me, well, can I make some money too by sharing it with other people? Yes and yes. So if they decide to do it, they make up to $70, and then you make up to $35 every time they bring in another customer. Now, we don't make anything when you bring in an advisor, but when every customer comes on and says, I want to use Think Energy Community Solar, AutoSave, you just make, depending on which service they choose to get. And as we build our organization or build our teams, if you decide to do that, which is not required and is not a thing that you have to do, but you can build it to the point where you have leverage, because we can do a whole lot more together than we can do by ourselves. So you can actually make up to $64. And this money here is paid out on a weekly basis every time you sign up a customer for that one time. Now, that's not the residual income. We'll talk about that in a minute. But understand this, we do have a system. And we teach you this simple, I promise you, simple system. Just like when you go to McDonald's, they tell you how long to drop the fries, how long to grill the burger. Well, we have a system. We call it 5-3-5. What does that mean? 5 customers, whether they're energy or solar or whatever, 3 advisors, and we teach those 3 advisors to get those 5 personal customers. But it's not really personal customers. It's customer points. I'll show you what that means in a minute. But when you do that for the very first time, if you don't do it any other time than the one time, 20 team customers, you've already reached the first rank in our business, Regional Energy Advisor. And at that point, you've earned up to $825, that potential of that, plus now your residual income is starting to kick in month after month after month. Why is that? Because you're getting paid every time somebody uses their electricity and pays that electricity bill. So now let's talk about the hierarchy. Because what I love about Think Energy is that they pay you for doing the work. They pay you bonuses. When you reach that first regional energy advisor, no matter when you do it, if it takes you 1 month, if it takes you 3 days, if it takes you 24 hours, which so many it does, it pays you $100. Now, I mentioned about customer points. You see, it says you can get 1 to 4 points or 1 to 7 points. That's per household. So it's not really about people. It's about the services that people get in their home, in their apartment, in their wherever it is that they have electricity. Because if a state has autosave and community solar, that's not 1 point, that's 2 points. And if it's a dual billing state like Illinois is, that's another point. And if it's a person that is a low to moderate income, that's another point. If they're on Medicare, Medicaid, if they're on SNAP benefits, food, benefits, you get an extra point because we're able to help those that really need it the most. But if you do it in 30 days from the date that you join, the company gives you an extra bonus, a one-time bonus of $200 instead of 1. Now, I'm going to say this again. If it doesn't happen in 30 days, if it happens in, God forbid, 3 years, you still get the $100. Why am I emphasizing that? Because I've been with companies that they got bonuses and they dangle them out there, but once you meet, you don't make the certain amount of time, you don't get that bonus anymore. Well, Think Energy leaves that bonus on the table whenever you become a regional. Whenever you become a senior, you get $250. If you do it in 90 days, you get $500. Whenever you become a director, you get $500. And if you do it within 120 days, you get $1,000. And the moment you reach that rank, a week from that date is when that check is on your debit card. And it keeps on going through regional director and senior director and partner and regional partner and senior partner. I'm telling you, by the time you go through the whole 10 levels in all these different ranks, you will have accumulated over $84,350. And if you do it within the 30, 60, 90, and 120 timeline, that's an extra $1,700. So there's so much money that they put on the table. And this doesn't include what I just showed you about the 20 and the 30 through the 50. So I hope you're getting understanding that this is pretty lucrative just from helping people save. But the best for me is residual income. I've often told my husband, I want to be able to go to sleep, wake up, look at my phone, and see how much money I made and go back to sleep. That's to make money while you sleep. So how does that work? It's the 5-3-5. That's all we do. That's all everybody does. And if that's all you did was 5-3-5 one time, You may have done it over and over, but just say people that you brought in, they only did it one time. Well, let's just say you got 3 advisors, only 3. You found 3 people that think like you, 3 people that are business minded like you, 3 people that understand they need residual income. And then they got 3, that would be 9. They got 3, that would be 27. They got 3, all the way down to the 10th power. That's over 88,000 advisors. That's just how compound works. It's like a snowball going downhill. And if you only got 5 customers, and they got 5, and they got 5, and they got 5, all the way down to the 10th power, you would actually have 442,000 plus customers that you're getting paid on every single month. And let me tell you something. This chart that you're looking at is called all these calculations are for band 1. What is that? Small studio apartment, regular apartments. Most homes sometimes are band 1, but I live in Texas. And I was shocked when I found out my home is a band 2. I think I need to go cut some stuff off because the band is related to how much usage you're using in your home. Not that I have such a huge house, but I think I got too many lights on and too many computers on. And right now I got 2 on at the same time. So you see what I'm saying? So just band 1 will take you to the point where you will accumulate and make over $500,000 every single month. Now that's a big pill for most people to swallow. It sounds like a pie in the sky. So I'm gonna take that away 50%. And let's just say maybe you don't hit that. What about 57,000? Every single month, not a year. Okay, too much for you? Could you do something with 1% of that? $5,766 every single month. Could that do some damage in your household? See, I've got to have a vehicle that can take me to this kind of place. Now, this doesn't happen overnight. Of course not. But it does happen and can happen over time, down to infinity. And that's not even including the community solar residuals that are also available for customers that you have that are on community solar. But here's the creme de la creme to get to partner. All of us that are here that are already energy advisors, that's our goal, partner. Because when you get to partner, every time a customer signs up and pays their bill, money goes to the partner pool. Pool money is shared monthly with partners. We currently have about 3 partners on our way to our 4th partner, which is one of our upline partners. He'll be the first brother that's a partner. We're excited about that because I can see where this takes you. You'll get 1 or 2 or 5 shares. Now, it would be fair if this company said, when you hit partner, you start getting paid from every person's bill since you hit partner. That's not what they say. You start getting paid every single month from every person that has ever signed up in Think Energy from the day the company started. You get that? You see why our goal is to hit partner? I don't care how long it takes. If it takes me 3 years to get the partner, if it takes me 5 years, what else am I doing that has the potential of causing that kind of retirement income, pension income that can come to your family and help you to leave a legacy? So in my closing, we're the only company that has all of these services in one place. Community solar, autosave, think smart, and coming in the month of March, the battery program. So again, look at the states. Certain states have electricity and community solar. Certain states only have electricity right now. Certain states only have community solar. And certain states only have the autosave. And now that autosave, those 6 states also have the Think Smart technology like we do in Texas. And it's not as important where you live as it is important who do you know where they live. So if your mind can go there and realize, because our largest income earners, our top 2 income earners in this company live in the state of Florida, where they don't even have their own service. And when they understood that they knew enough people in the other states for them to benefit until the service came to their state. So I appreciate your time today in the middle of the day on a Thursday afternoon. I appreciate you showing up. Thank the person who invited you here. And you definitely want to get back then. We'll definitely at least open up the floor in case anybody has any questions they want to ask. And we'll stop recording.